you want to introduce yourself and welcome everybody, and then I'll tell what we're doing?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first Shift Book Club by Ops Boss Coaching. My name is Samantha Stokes, and I am a group coach for Ops Boss Coaching. I am also the director of client care for the Lucas Howard Group up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We do about 400 units a year. And if you're part of the Keller Williams family, we are also a part of the Gary Keller Mastermind Group. So that's who I am. Christy, take it away.
Awesome. So I'm Christy Belt-Grossman. I think I know probably most of you, but we are really happy you are here, whether you are coaching clients or part of the ops community. And I think, Sheila, did we have polls in there that you can launch? Yes, I think we do.
Yep.
I am going to just launch a poll question real quickly to start us off so we can see who's here. Our intent with the book club is to have a discussion, and it's going to be a challenge. We're going to see how this goes with our group with only 30 minutes. So this is not a class. This is a mastermind discussion. And our thought process was, here we're coming into Shift. We're hearing a lot of conversation around the country and a lot of fear because some teams are slowing down. Some teams are seeing change in the market. And here's what I want you guys to know and what I've told our coaches. We are actually, I almost want to throw the word shift out of our vocabulary and put the word opportunity in. We are in an opportunity market. You're either in it now or you're going to be seeing it. So what we thought we would do is just take the book. We're going to read the book. We're going to share our ahas and especially share them from the operations point of view. So it looks like 93% of us in the meeting today are operations. So that's awesome. That's exactly where we were going. So with that, I'm going to let Sam take over. You will see over the next few weeks also Elizabeth Gilbert, who is the COO for the Hearn Group out in Missouri. And you will see Kelly Turco, who is the Regional Operations Director out in KW, Colorado. And a number of us have been through this shift before. And maybe you guys can type into the chat whether you have been through the last down market, which was 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, kind of that time frame. Type a yes or a no in there in the chat so we can get the chat going. And then I'm going to let Sam take it away. Those of you who are typing no, what I want you to know is you've been through a shifting market. You may not have been through the down market 10 or 15, however many years ago, my math is bad, but you went through shift in 2020 when COVID hit. We all went through shift together if you've been in the market since 2020, 2021. So with that, Sam, I'm going to let you take it away, and we've got 25 minutes to jump into the first chapter.
All right. So how's everyone feeling lately? I know right now, like we're going through a huge shift. We just started seeing it about a couple weeks ago, and we're seeing listings sit on the market. We have not seen that in ages. I just kind of wanted to feel out, where are you from? If you would like to come off mute, where are you from and what are you seeing in your current market? Or you can throw it in the chat as well if you can't come off mute.
I'm from Las Vegas, and huge slowdown, longer days on market, fewer offers. I think we all can relate. You put a listing on the market or in coming soon status, you have 20 offers by the time you hit submit. They haven't even seen it yet. Now it's like, if I even think they might show, I'm calling them for feedback before they even showed it. Like, hey, what are the odds, right? And now there's more competition. So to the buyer, they're not going to offer top dollar anymore. I'm not seeing list price offers. I'm seeing 15 to 20,000 below, houses that are already priced below the comps, and they're not getting showings. We're running ads. I mean, we're having to, I hate to say it, actually work to sell a house now.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing as well. Is anyone else seeing that? Are they seeing something different? Is anyone else seeing anything different?
So we've got a few people that can't come on mic. So we've got Colorado, mountain resort towns, slowdown, longer days on market, sitting inventory, all just in the past few weeks. North Georgia drastically showing. We usually run 25 to 30 under contract, and now we're at 15. Looks like Evansville, Indiana. So it looks like there's a trend all around. I know from our coaching, we're seeing some places that literally last week on coaching calls, we're not seeing a slowdown, and this week on coaching calls will. So it seems like it's not happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's there. So
right.
no slowdown in Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mackenzie. I saw you pop on.
We have a different perspective when we do land, like we do big land, and we don't, we really big master builders, so like when GR, they do they're pretty much.
Mackenzie, your microphone's not working. If you want to type in chat or fix your mic.
So it looks like Baltimore, we're down 25% as well. Yeah. How is this making everyone feel? I know in the book, it says that your automatic response is fear. Is everyone feeling fearful? Maybe nod your head, thumbs up, thumbs down. So it seems. I feel like everyone's first response is fear. And luckily, reading through Shift, it really helps you shift that mindset from fear to opportunity. And that's what we're looking at today. Does anyone want to share? There's so much that we went through, and I'm just kind of going to give a little bit of a summary what the book offers, and then we can go ahead and share our ahas. So the real estate market shifts all the time. It's very cyclical. We'll see this happen again. And then in the book, they also talk about how this happened in 1979, and they saw it again 8 years later. So we'll run into this again. So now's a good time to definitely get prepared. Sometimes you'll shift in response to a failing market. Other times you'll shift to take your business to the next level. It's all about changing your thinking, your focus, your actions, and your results to get back in the game and ahead of your competition. The tactics that jumpstart your business in tough times will power it forward into good ones. And I think what Shift is doing is really setting people apart from people who don't feel like getting through the tough times and people who are willing to do what you don't want to do to get through those tough times. Who would like to come off of the mute and share one of their ahas they have seen in these first couple of pages?
Hi.
Caitlin, how are you?
Good. So I read through this and immediately got on the phone with my rainmaker, and I was like, we've got to start chatting about this. I have read Shift so many times. Every time I read it, I take away something different. And just a quick note, I have seen what everyone else has. It was like 2 weeks ago, just like that. And I'm like, holy cow. As soon as I saw that this was a mastermind, I jumped on it because I knew that this was an important time, because we've seen shifts and every shift is a little bit different. And I think the biggest key takeaway for both me and my rainmaker was who does it best? Because there are a lot of things that we have delegated to different team members that are fine. There's training gaps, but if it is a crucial part of our team, our function, our metrics, who does it best? And if that answer is me or her, we've got to take it back over right now. We have to make our bandwidth. We have to restructure our company because we have an ISA. She's kind of let go a lot of the lead generation. I've let go a lot of. So for example, when I'm coaching, I now only coach the admin. I stopped coaching our agents. And as soon as this shift hit, I'm like, I'm getting back into coaching our agents every single week because they don't know what this looks like either. And I need to pour directly into them. So I think it's a really good time to reevaluate how you've been functioning so far and what are the things that you just have to be honest with yourself. You may not want to do that, but if you are the answer and you do that best, pull your britches up and do it.
Right. I totally agree. And in this book too, it says, master the fundamentals. Like, let's cut out all the noise in the background and let's get back to the fundamentals. Has anyone been focusing on the fundamentals right now? Or what have you been doing different? Like Caitlin said that she switched from coaching ops back to agents. What has everyone else been doing differently as they've been seeing this shift come to fruition?
Hi, we've been doing really high accountability with our agents and their lead generation times and activities. So just holding them on that next level of accountability to what are your results? How can we help you best? What tools are you still missing? How can we get you out in front of people? And just a higher level of accountability on tracking and reporting, watching the trends, and then understanding how I, as a chief of staff, how our CEO can come in and best tailor a coaching conversation with them with where they're struggling to take those, how their feelings at a 6 and a 7 up to a 9 or a 10.
And for those who don't know, what kind of numbers are you tracking?
We are tracking everywhere from dials or door knocks, mailers sent, and I do them in the order of DCBA. So what are your dials for the day? What are your contacts for the day? What are your bank ads, which is our equivalent of adding to the database from your lead generation today? And then how many appointments did you set? And so that's what we track. And then I can track kind of a conversion timeline on those as well.
But also having, the specific times of when they're doing lead generation so that they have a consistency, that they know they come in every day knowing that these are their lead generation times. And so they have that mindset coming in.
Yep. Love that. It looks like Ashley said running more ads, issuing the admins for all the background and agents / managers more front facing. We run reports daily. So it looks like we're running reports more frequently. Christy, thank you for throwing the page in there. Casey said helping out our agents work on their scripts and lead gen time so that they know who to call and what to say about the shifting market. Christy said, ops, are you tracking all the conversation ratios for lead gen? That's so important, you guys. You want to know what type of ratios your team is having so that you know where your weak points are. Are your weak points in setting appointments? Are your weak points in getting the people to show up? Are your weak points getting the people to sign or under contract? It's super important for the agents to know those numbers and for your team to own those numbers and hold people accountable to them. Thank you so much.
I thought, Taylor, your point was really important about accountability, and that applies to operations as well as to agents. So that came from page 25. Know that growth comes from clarity, priorities, and focused action. And so when you have accountability, when you're doing 411s, for example, you have much more clarity. And I think there was, I don't remember what page it was, page 27, it talked about efficiency and effectiveness. We can be really busy all the time, but are we being, and that's, you can be efficient in what you're doing, but are you doing the right things, right? And so looking at the tracking and looking at the accountability and the conversion ratios and all of that stuff helps us know if we're doing the right things. So I just wanted to plus what Tyler was saying.
Totally agree.
I would say, this is Sharon. I was just going to say, I think one of the things, and maybe it's because I'm a mature operations person in terms of age, not just years of service, but it's just to keep the people at a calm, the sky is not falling. A lot of our agents are less than a year old and they have never been through anything but a boom market. And so to know that it is cyclical, to be able to express that to them in a way that it's like, when your financial advisor says, don't do anything with your accounts right now, just let it ride, it'll be fine. It's like keeping that confidence in them, but just saying, when this happens, this is how we should respond to it, and that they trust you in knowing that you're directing them to the right activities, and that it's going to be, that's their first time. And so it's like, don't speak over their heads in terms of what the strategies can be. I loved what Caitlin said too about who's doing it best, and then it's easy to hide behind doing those activities that they shouldn't be doing, and just say, hey, now's the time we really got to focus in on these things. But keeping their peace of mind and helping them get through it, knowing it's tough, but that it's still, it's something that happens, and this is how we deal with it.
Right. Thank you, Sharon. Yes, this is all about the mindset, in the book, the quote from Zig Ziglar, a check up from the neck up, we need to start with mindset. We need to take a big deep breath in, blow it out. We're going to be fine. We will get to the next step. We will persevere and we will push through. And I think starting with this book club, amazing first step.
You guys, I want to add on mindset. Mindset isn't just like the mood you're in, right? Mindset is a systems. We're all operations people. So if you want to have an awesome mindset, what are the systems you're putting in place to have an awesome mindset? So that might be your morning routine. It might be your nutrition or your workouts. It might be your team culture, your power ups in the morning. Maybe you've gotten away from those. Like, what are the things you're doing to systemize positive mindset? I think as ops people, there's a lot of things we can do to help our teams on that end.
I agree. Genevieve made a great point too in the chat. We need to do this with our clients as well. That is a whole separate piece, but it ties in so nicely. How are you guys adapting to the shifting market when it comes to client care?
If I can, we're dealing with this right now with a client who is super worried about listing her house. She'll go up in about 2 weeks. With everything going on in the news and everything that she is reading, she's literally freaking out. And it's just a matter of picking up the phone and talking to her almost on a daily basis to say, hey, how are you? How are things doing? Can I answer any questions for you? What did you read last night that had you nervous? And just being on top of it. Not only are we presenting ourselves as the expert, but we are also there sort of holding their hand and doing that client care that is much needed.
Mm-hmm. So we're kind of in an era of over communication. How are we as ops people going to build that into our systems? I know some systems have a healthy amount of automation. If you don't have automation, how does everyone plan on building in more client touch points to make sure that everyone's well taken care of and they have that peace of mind as well, no matter if we're freaking out or not?
On every Tuesday and Thursday, I like to talk to all of our sellers. Tuesday, I like it to be like a pre-listing, anything that, because that's where we're losing some right now. You know, they sign paperwork today. The news, of course, gotta love the media, releases something that now's not the time to sell, or it is, and now they want to raise their price. So anytime they want to raise the price, I automatically hit them with the script. Can I tell you why that concerns me? Right. And then go into it from there. And then over communication, like you said, because one, we get that complaint a lot just because we're human. Oh, I didn't hear from you. They want to talk to us every day. They don't realize they're not the only client. Right. But over communication, and we're the boots on the ground for them. Right. So they're going to listen to the media, of course, and TikTok and everything else, but they do rely on us to be the expert for them. So I do the market watch with them. Listen, did you know price reductions doubled in the last 7 days? We have 1,200 homes hitting the market every 7 days, but 30% of those are falling out of escrow, right? So it's important that they know the statistics because it makes them trust you, and it's going to make that price reduction. That's another thing that if you're not good at getting those, definitely brush off that price reduction script because it's definitely time for that again.
That's a great point. I think coming into it and overloading them with data, I think data is one of the most powerful things that we can give a seller, especially when their house is not selling. Because a lot of the times they think maybe the team's not doing their job when you can provide the data from the market and show them exactly what's going on. Christy says under promise and over deliver 100%. I really follow the model, and I think it helps a lot with our clients where you say you're going to do something, you do it, and then you tell them you did it. That really builds trust. It builds, you're doing what you told them you're going to do. They can rely on you to get things done. Bethany said, high touch, set good expectations, anticipate fear or anxiety, proactive updates, and keeping line of communication open. 100%. Christy says,
let's get specific about that because I think it's not hard to do. So what that means, for example, is at your listing appointment, Mr. Seller, I want to tell you when and how and what we're going to communicate. We're going to be sending you a CMA every other week. We're going to have a phone call every Friday, whatever that is. So you tell them what you're going to do, and then you over deliver. So we're going to send a CMA every 2 weeks. You send one every week. We're going to call you every Friday. You call them every Tuesday and Friday. Now they feel extra well cared for. They know what to expect. Knowing what to expect takes away some of that fear for them.
Right. And that might sound a little bit overwhelming, building in so much more communication, but you guys can build this into your systems. Let the system do the work for you. You just need to be the facilitator of the system. Mackenzie said we had that era of communication during the first 6 to 8 weeks of a listing. We gave facts. Here's your competition. Here's what that looks like. Give factual plans of action. It was a weekly touch, one agent phone call, and one email from the ops recapping the call. Christy says, set expectations at your listing and buyer consults. Yes, it all starts at the consult. All right.
One of the scripts that you might want to use at that time is, hey, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, I know you probably have been listening to the news about the real estate market, and they always have, right? You know, what you're hearing on the news is often 30 to 60 days lag behind what's actually happening in the market. So let's talk about what's happening in the national market, the local market, and your market. And then that's where you do what Mackenzie said with all the facts. Here's all the statistics. Let's go over it. So what you're really doing is trying to educate your buyer and seller to today's market, not yesterday's market.
Yep. One thing I want us to think about, because we're already 9 minutes from the end of the call, what is one thing you can think of right now that you need to fine tune to survive this shift, to adapt to this shift? What's one thing you're going to work on today moving forward to help yourself and your team adapt? Amanda says, we're also putting together the data and breaking it down for our agents with scripting so they can call their clients and speak about stats. Oh, that's moving so quick. We're going to be weekly market updates with sellers and going to price reductions sooner. Yes, price reductions. Haven't seen those in a while, have we? Client communication. Look at price reduction stats across the MLS. Ours is definitely client communication too. You know, our sellers, they get a healthy amount of communication now, but you know, when their house goes on the market, 2 days later, it's already under contract. We haven't been communicating with them a ton. So that's something we definitely need to work on, building in more seller communication. Revisit our automated touches. Yes. Look at price reductions, client care communication, script and role play on price reductions. Yes. Here's a question. Is the ops team scripting with agents how to have those communications with their clients? We're reviewing what we are tracking and pulling it back to purpose. We're looking for what the next push is going to be for in our niche. There's a play here, just being aware of what that will be. Yes, we need to stay in front of what's going on. I agree.
So I want to rephrase Sam's question because it was a good question. And those of you who are joining us in the Ops Boss community for the first time know that I'm a big person of action, right? So I love that you asked, what is your takeaway? What is your action from first chapter? Tactic 1 is get real, get right, mindset and action. So what all of this, as operations people, we automatically go into the strategy of we're going to change this system and that system and rewrite our scripts and all that. What are you doing for mindset? What's your takeaway for your team to help your team with mindset before we get into all the strategy stuff?
Christy and Sam, if I could, it's for mindset for us, we are starting to meet more and have more conversations. We were doing huddles every few days. We're doing them every morning because we are not all in the same place usually. So we are definitely communicating internally more often so that we are able to stay in front of issues and stay in front of client things. And so that has actually helped with mindset. I do love what Caitlin said about not hiding. And I think, Christy, you reiterated it. Don't hide behind the things that you're just doing. And that is something that I had a conversation with my rainmaker last night about, just, dude, you got to get out and lead gen more and let me do some of these like little things to take it off of your plate so that you can get moving.
I agree. Really getting intentional with your time and how you're using it. I don't know if everyone here has read The One Thing, but you change that to-do list into a success list. You're doing things that move the needle forward. I think a great first step, if you haven't done this already, is having a conversation with your rainmaker to talk to the rest of your team members, to let them know what's happening in the market and how we're going to be shifting moving forward. I know our team had a huge brainstorming session of what we're seeing and what we're going to do as a team to remedy those problems. Are we Are we door knocking? What are we doing to get out there and get ahead of these things? All right, let's see over here. A must-do list. Yes. Reading fans first, Jesse Cole, and have been sharing morning wisdoms with entire team that I've taken away from either source. Sharing quotes with your team, uplifting quotes you find on Pinterest with your team helps. Spending time with your team to make sure that we're a united front and we're going to get through this together. Mindset action, shift our thoughts from fear to opportunity. Our rainmakers already talked over this, but definitely more work to do on it and things continue to shift. Action, define our opportunity. Yes. We do daily affirmations during our power up with the entire team. Power up is so powerful, guys. We have power up every single morning. I look forward to it every single morning. You come in, you do your affirmations, what you're thankful for, your win from yesterday and your goal for today. That helps you get so intentional on what you're going to do today to move the needle forward. And you get everyone in your office to gather up and do that with you.
And you guys, if you're not on a large team, because sometimes you're the ops boss and it's you and your agent, just get together with a couple of other agents and ops bosses and do a power up together, even though you're not on the same team. It still works.
Yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to do power up. It's one of my favorite things. Brand new, 2 weeks into my role, what are some trusted sites to find the best market data? Who would like to help out Jenny? Where are we finding our market data at? I know ours, we just pull from the MLS.
We just pull from the MLS. If you go into, if you're in our Be a Boss group, Stephanie Brackett's old team, Anderson Hicks, has just developed a new product. If they can hook into your MLS with a webhook, they can pull stats for you and provide you, so you can check that out too.
Looks like Martin uses Bright MLS. Keeping Current Matters, NAR, RPR. It looks like a lot of people are going to their board or their MLS. Yes. All right, well, wrapping it up with some final thoughts. It looks like we have about 2 minutes left. Preparing for next week, we are moving into, let me see, Tactic 2 and Tactic 3. And I can't wait to see you guys then. Is there any other ahas you would like to share before we move on? Christy?
I'm going to ask you guys, 30 minutes goes by really fast.
It does.
Right? And I know everyone's doing the work to prepare, which is awesome because it's pushing me to go back and read this and redo this again. I love Shift. It's such a great business book, even not during the shift.
Agreed.
I'm going to ask you to go back to either the Executive Assistants Facebook group or the Be a Boss Facebook group where we posted about the book club, and put your ahas either from today's call or that you didn't get a chance to share in there so that we can all hear and learn from you as well. That would be really awesome.
Yes.
Sam, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you guys for making time today. We still have 2 more minutes, so if anybody else has anything, feel free to jump in.
Also, if you can put your action items in those comments too, that would be great, just to see what others are doing that maybe you could implement.
I wanted to tell you guys just on the mindset piece, in reading the introduction, I'm like Sharon, a seasoned ops boss. And I wanted to share with you, when we built the house I'm sitting in right now, we built this house. We built it in 1985 and it was finished in 1986. When we wrote our contract, interest rates were at 13% for a 1-year arm that adjusted 2% up each year. And so you thought, we're seeing what interest rates are doing now, like, oh my God, buyers are getting out of the market, all of that stuff. I want you to know things still sold. So there is lots of opportunity here. The team that I was on when we went through the last shift is when my team became the #5 team in Keller Williams. This is a huge, huge, awesome opportunity for great teams. And if you're on this call, I know you're on a great team and with a great agent. So this is super exciting opportunity for all of us. And it's 12:30 and here we go. So thank you guys for being with us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Your Zoom links, by the way, say every week, just because we weren't able to change that. So ignore the one next week. We'll see you whenever. What's the date, Sam, of the next one?
It's 2 Fridays from now.
Okay,
I believe
whenever
the
that is.
24th.
Yes, 24th.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. Thank you
Thank
guys
you,
so
guys.
much. It's
Have a
your
great
time
weekend.
to shine. Let's get out there.